you call a doctor that actually fixes websites? You call him a urologist. A urologist.
Urologist, of course.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you call two orthopedic doctors reading an EKG? Two orthopedic doctors calling it reading an EKG.
No.
A double-blind study. And you know what? What do you call a student, a med student that's got all C's all the way through med school? Hopefully not your doctor. And you know what? What did the man say to the x-ray technician after swallowing some money? Did you see the change in me? And you know, why did the doctor tell the nurse to walk past the pill cupboard quietly? So she wouldn't wake the sleeping pills.
No.
I mean, come on, really? You see crap like this all the time. But you know what really, really gets me? It was, how many doctors does it take to screw in a light bulb? Because, these guys are really, really arrogant people. I mean, some of us are, some of us aren't. Well, 3, actually. One to find a light bulb specialist. And one to find a bulb installation specialist. And one to bill it to Medicare. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, I can't even, I don't understand this. It puts us in a bad light, but a doctor is the only man who could tell a woman to take all her clothes off. Okay. And then send the bill to her husband.
Insulting.
Oh,
yeah. And of course, being an ER doc, we're kind of like lowest on the food chain. So, because in all these specialty docs, they don't acknowledge us because we're lowest on the food chain. They think we're stupid. That's why they call us stop and go, because they stop in and we just send them on to the, the further specialties and what have you, and the hospitalists and all those guys. But what's the difference between God and an orthopedic surgeon? Because we're going to pick on these guys tonight. Well, the difference is the difference between God and an orthopedic surgeon is God doesn't think he's an orthopedic surgeon.
Oh, that's good.
And
That's
yeah. And you know what? How do you tell the difference between an oral thermometer? And I was telling this to a young med student once. How do they tell the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer?
Those are red, orals are blue.
By the taste.
By the taste, Coach says. That's great.
And you know what? That fool actually looked at me like I was serious too. This kid. I don't even think he made it. I didn't give him a good review. And you know what? I told him this other thing too. I actually said, how does an apple a day keep the chief of staff away? And he says, gee, I don't know. And he says, how does an apple a day keep the chief of staff away? And he says, does an apple a day keep the chief of staff away? And he says, yeah. I says, yeah, only if your aim is good. He didn't believe me until he tried it.
He'll be fired first day.
And then, did you hear about the new, how the millennium is and everything's all Bluetooth and cordless and whatever? And did you hear about the baby being born in this high-tech delivery room? It was cordless. Yeah, but you know what? The really interesting thing is, here's another one. Like I said, us ER doctors, we're kind of like bottom of the food chain. But there is a difference between general practitioners and a specialist. And ER docs are technically general practitioners. We kind of fall in that category. With a general practitioner and a specialist, we're the ones who one that treats what you have and the other one thinks you have what he treats.
That's
So yeah.
hurtfully true.
Yeah, unfortunately. And you know what happens when the man tried to search for information on about impotence on the internet? Nothing came up. Yeah, and you're googling, your diagnosis of myelitis. We'll get into that later. And what's the medical term for owning too many dogs?
It's me. I don't know. What am I?
A rover dose. And here we go. What's the difference between a marriage and a mental hospital?
Not much.
At a mental hospital, you have to show improvement to get out.
Applause.
Oh,
In the
that's
piece de
good.
resistance, once upon a time, a man told a doctor, I broke my leg in 2 places. He told him to quit going to those 2 places. And first and foremost, a woman said, when I first tried a new cough syrup, I had no idea what to expect.
Oh, expecting.
You've been a great audience.
Oh,
Thank you
that's
very
good.
much for letting me
Yeah,
make an
thanks
fool
for
out of
your-
myself.
Yeah, really good. I got a video of it.